Hey, just a heads up, there's gonna be some graphic content up ahead. If you don't find that comfortable, then I highly recommend clicking away. Or just watch something else from yours truly. At least doing something that he won't do. Also, please don't harass this guy, it's just me critiquing his stuff. Okay, bye! At May 6, 2025, my friend Moment Sanity reacted to a reimagining of FNAF Security Breach. And it is one of the worst ever reimagining we have ever seen. Apologies to anyone who actually enjoyed this reimagining. Personally, I don't, because it's way too similar to some bad creepypastas. Anyway, so yeah, I'm here to talk about this reimagining and just critique it and on the way, because, well, there's some stuff that I don't really enjoy and are basically written badly, such as some character decisions, story-wise, and that. One thing that this is well known for.
Foreshadowing is a literary device in which...
So yeah, enough wait, let's get into it.
Pipe bomb.
So before we begin, I will want to talk about this first half in a minute, because wow, there's some stuff that my friend Sanity and Grebbz noticed during the whole thing. And frankly, it's not good. So at the beginning of the video, he was using a clip of Markiplier basically admitting that, yeah, this is my fault and couldn't see the exit. You know, all that stuff. He even, admitted to it. However, the way he showed the clips make it feel that this is Game's fault and not Markiplier's fault, which is weird. First of all, I know it's gonna sound nitpicky, but this isn't a good example of why Security Breach isn't scary. At best, this is bad game design. At worst, this is basically you nitpicking as me nitpicking this example. Secondly, why this clip? There's other clips out there of him encountering different bugs and glitches, but we picked this clip in particular, him admitting, yeah, I'm an idiot and couldn't see the exit. Why? I'm not 1 minute in and already have seen issues. The second point I want to bring up here is that he basically admits that FNAF wasn't gory, and at least to me, that was the whole point. And yeah, for sure, the whole fucking jump scare thing is fucking dumb, but at least to me, it feels like the uncanny valley situation where something looks normal, but in actuality, it looks kind of off. All I'm trying to say is mannequins are scary. And plus, I feel like there's other ways to tell horror without using the use of gore, such as Sick Knowledge, Little Nightmares, and other games that I forget that I probably might post in editing and whatnot. And lastly, just one point that he compared fucking Vanessa's character assassination to Judas' betrayal.
Not since Judas sold out Christ for 30 silver pieces has there been a more grievous character betrayal.
What? I mean, fair argument, Vanessa/Vanny was in the game, barely. But why do you compare it to fucking Judas, of all historical fucking people?
Foreshadowing is a little...
Alright, I need to talking about the actual story, because my god, this thing is gonna drive me insane. So the whole story begins in, where else? LA. Anyways, so yeah, the whole story begins of Gregory seeing the whole pizza place and how both V and Johnny see Arasaka corrupted. I mean, there's more to it, such as how his friends start disappearing one by one and, the usual FNAF shit. However, the way he just says it kind of make it confusing and hard to follow. So apologies if I don't make it clear and simple for you. My bad. That one begins in, Gregory inside the pizza place and seeing Endos wandering around the place? What? Isn't that the whole point of security bots? To secure at night? Why is Endos wandering around the place? Anyway, so yeah, Freddy saved Gregory from the Endos and basically explained what's up. In short, he explains that he and a friend are sick, weird, and basically wander around the place after dark, and both him and Gregory agrees on how to stop this and why it is going on. And to be honest, this is a very good beginning. Freddy saved Gregory from the Endo, and in return, Gregory basically helps out Freddy on what's going on with his friend, and that's a pretty good premise. Sadly, it's all downhill from here, and after this, you understand why. So basically, Gregory goes to the daycare center, turn on power, and goes back to the ball pit and find Oh, this is the final boss. Me getting this video the PG rating. So yeah, this is one of the main reasons why I want to cover this. The unnecessary amount of gore. I'll get into that when I get to it, but frankly, it's gonna get worse from here. So after whatever that was.
Alright, stop, quit it. Just stop, they're gone. Kongin, stop screaming.
The power go back on and just disappear like nothing ever happened. So Gregory told Freddy, horrified mind you, that he found a dead child in the ball pit, and he would come back later. Before we would go to night 2, Gregory have a nightmare sequence and show how the kid died. And this is gonna be confusing, so bear with me. So once Moondrop appeared, he told the kid to go to sleep. The kid said no. He later choked him to death. So Gregory told Freddy about the nightmare, and he weirdly agrees with it and not questioning whether or not if it's true and how he get the details so perfect. And then Greg go to the kitchen and meet Grandma Chica. And so after he get ambushed by Chica, he meets another ghost, this time a boy that is notorious to be hungry and, well, dead. After that, he, well, destroy Grandma Chica. Then after that, he meet Vanny and begin a chase. And then after that sequence, Gregory had another drink sequence and basically how this kid died. So James got hungry and tried to get pizza from the compactor. However, Grandma Chica got confused and ate the kid, mistaking him from trash. How? Anyways, night 2 begins and Vanessa showed due to the whole destruction of the animatronics. Oh, by the way, you may wonder where's the daycare attendants. During this night, Gregory discovered Roxanne, another ghost, this time of a girl. So after Greg destroyed Roxy, he discovers Vanessa's secret, and she's Fanny all along. What? So let me get this straight. You somehow managed to ruin Vanny somehow even further, but also create a plot twist that rivals the Arkham fucking Knight? Look, as someone who actually enjoys the Arkham Knight, I could admit that the Jason Todd review was kind of
Predictable!
But you gotta admit that this twist is fucking terrible. There are no hints, no payoff whatsoever. And this has to be one of the most laziest way to reveal that Vanny is Vanessa, which is not very good at all. The weird part is that you mentioned that Vanny is one of the most wasted potential in the entire series. And yes, I do admit that Vanny had the most weakest potential in the entire series. But you gotta admit that this is one of the worst way to use Vanny like this. Now, I just came to realize that after reviewing this multiple times, I just realized something. This rewrite is fucking terrible. Now, yes, I do understand that this is way too early to judge this, but my god, I can't hold it in anymore. I don't understand why people enjoy this rewrite at all. Now, this had to be one of those times where I had to disagree with the majority here, because my god, there isn't a lot to defend here. Alright, so first of all, why the character feels so generic slash basically nothing? And yes, I do know that the original Secret Breach isn't very good either, but my god, at least the character feels, you know, a character. This is the only time that I would talk positively about the original Secret Breach because, well, there's a lot of personality with each character. Freddy is basically the big brother of Gregory. Monty is a self-centered jackass that have some severe anger issues. Rocket is pretty much the same thing as Monty, but replacing anger issues with some self-consciousness. And Chica is a glutton. But in here, I don't see any animatronic personality here. Mostly just big metal robot that killed children just for fun for some reason. And that's pretty much go with Vanny as well, because I barely see Vanny in this reimagined. So do y'all remember the time he mentioned that this feels like Judas' betrayal to Jesus? Well, this feels the assassination of Julius Caesar. If I was the bystanders, the amount of time that I could see Vanny in this version is so minimal I could count it with one hand. Night 2, where she was chasing Gregory. Night 3, where she revealed that Vanessa was Vanny. And the final night, where I will get to that when we get to that. Now, the other issue I had with this is how very generic this whole thing is. Like, legit, the amount of repetition I see in this is kind of boring and not interesting at all. Night 1, Gregory into the Pizzaplex. Meet the animatronic. Destroy the animatronic. See how the deck goes. And see how the ghost died. Night 2, Gregory into the Pizzaplex. Meet the animatronic. Destroy the animatronic. See how the deck goes. And see how the ghost died. You get the point now. And my final criticism is the main reason why this rematch is so popular. And if you know, you know. Yeah, I think the use of gore is kind of pointless in this reimagine. Sorry, not sorry. So yeah, if you know anything about this reimagine, then you probably understand the controversy. And okay, the hot take, but if you want to use gore, at least have a purpose of using it. When you don't have a purpose, then if you're using it for shock value, then I'm sorry, but you don't know how to write horror properly. And I find it funny how he used this very obvious content form, an example of why gore is scary, and...
Now I'm going to give my hot take. I think what you just saw there is a lot more disturbing than anything in my video. It's in 3 dimensions. It moves. You see the blood actually come out and splatter. You see, like, you know, the jaw like malfunctioning and like struggling with the skull. You see, you hear the child like squirming and crying in agony. Like, that bothered me, honestly, a lot. It was hard to watch, admittedly, for someone, even for someone like me. But I didn't care. And where was the Twitter mob for that one? Where is the indignation for that? Nowhere, I guess.
Dude, just because it's 3D doesn't automatically mean it's scary. Also, geez, I wonder why it didn't get its most hate. I wonder why. I bet you this is the same guy who complained about Osiris' baby being cut because it would add more character to him. Okay, I should probably finish recapping this entire thing because, my god, this is gonna get way worse from here. So, night 4 begin in Mountain Golf. And next time, Gregory found another dead kid, but this time he actually had a vision of how this kid died. So this kid was trying to get in trying to see where Bonnie is in Monty Golf. Why did the kid go to Monty Golf instead of the bowling alley?
I don't know!
Anyways, night 5 begins and Wells destroying the Music Man. This is like me saying that I need to defeat this fucker just to defeat the Radiant. Anyways, Gregory defeated Music Man and didn't see the last ghost, which is odd. Because usually whenever Gregory defeats an animatronic, a ghost appears, but this time don't. But whatever, this doesn't even report in right now. Let's talk to Grandma Freddy. So Gregory goes to Grandma Freddy and, oh, for the love of God! So yeah, revealed that this girl was the first victim, and it was from Freddy. And this happened all before. Really?
Yeah, so look, bud, that was awesome. Really brought the house down. I'm gonna ask you to leave, please. Please, Johnny, please. You gotta reconsider. Get the fuck out now!
So yeah, by the tone of my voice, you've been noticing that I don't like this twist at all. This is very cliche, terrible at best, and this answers more questions than answers. It would have been a lot better if you put it in Vanessa's office, because A, it makes more sense, and B, it would have been a more effective result since, well, Vanessa's kind of behind all this, and, well, she's been framing these animatronics for being decommissioned. But no, you decide to put it in Freddy's corridor and make it look like Freddy did it, which is very bad indeed. However, I could give this guy a single credit to this name. You see, once he told Gregory about the whole thing, he feel guilt about the whole thing and want to redeem himself and tell him Gregory if he forgives him. However, Gregory put a Ninth Doctor and tell him to...
Alright then. If you want orders, follow this one. Kill yourself.
And then leave to never return ever again. Night 6 begins where Gregory have a death wish, and come back to Pizzeria to confront Vanny, and I see. So I want to know our reaction to this.
Ruins of the FNAF 6 restaurant, along with Vanny's
Is that a good
setup.
reference?
What? I'm fucking dumb! That's so stupid! Oh my god! Oh my fucking god!
Again, I have to ask, what does this add? What does this add?
Anyway, so yeah, so basically Vanny's just say that he's a lax victim for starting ritual, then yada yada yada, then try to kill him, but Freddy saved him for the last minute and pretty much run away. Then Gregory tried to scatter the whole place, find the main ghost, and then tried to do the chariot scene from the Mummy. I'm not even joking about the restaurant, what the fuck? And after he complained about the whole FNAF, if it was bloody, then you'll probably know how merchandise scene. But look, I'm not really a dick about it, but if games like Mouthwashing could have merch of themselves, I'm pretty sure that FNAF could too, even without the gore. So after all that explanation, what do I personally think about the rewrite? Well, personally, I think it's very bad. What do you want from me? I don't like this reimagined at all. What can I say about this that I haven't even said before? This has to be one of the most generic, non-scary, and boring rewrite I have ever seen. Sadly, I don't want to repeat myself because I already said all the stuff that pissed me off. However, I do have a certain British vampire girl who have an opinion or two. Be right back. Girl, grab. Peel the door. Leave. Grabby. Jessica, I got a signed post of Alice Angel. I know you want to do it. I'm willing to blow this door down. Where the fuck did...
From the earth I rise, and from the earth I will return. Hello everybody, it's time for this video to get 90% worse in terms of writing. So, as I'm forced into this at gunpoint, I suppose I'm talking about the stupid burger. Don't get me wrong, FNAF as a franchise, and especially Security Breach, is very flawed, and far from what I'd call a masterpiece in horror. I ain't Dorco, or Markiplier wojacking or screaming at a PNG. And as an adult, this shit just isn't scary. But I suppose I still have a fucking nostalgia like any white girl desperately clinging onto my childhood to escape the eternally clicking clock we call time. Where was I? Oh, this shit. So, the idea of taking FNAF Security Breach and making it quote-unquote actually scary is something I can see working. It's a shame it's done by someone who can't write for shit. Issue 1. The god-awful art direction. I'm gonna refrain from going too hard on the illustrations for this, because I'm fairly certain that a man who, no offense, looks like he talked my ear off about how all lives matter, threw money at the poor artist making this and pushed them to the limit. I want us to throw a massive fuck off allegedly right here so neither of us get sued. Though I will criticize the Chica design, because not only does she look like me with no Zaza, but she's also plagiarized. Good job. Issue 2. The actual writing is god-awful. Fuck's sake. I'm slightly drunk, by the way. Issue 2. The actual fucking writing of this god-awful clusterfuck. So, Mr. Wannabe Stephen King decided that the game should actually be Five Nights at Freddy's, which I'm actually down for. What I'm not down for is how goddamn formulaic these are. Gregory goes in place. Gregory meets a spooky. Gregory sees a child randomly die. Now when it comes to this shit, I specifically asked to throw my thoughts into the void. Not sure why people care about this random trans vampire's opinions, but hey, here we are. Now, when it comes to violence in movies and sex on TV, I have very mixed thoughts. Movies like Saw and stuff always grab my interest, and are often pretty good at highlighting the monstrous intent of the main antagonist. I'm sorry, you can't show me Jason Voorhees putting a machete in someone's head and not think that's fucking cool. But there's something called appropriateness that we have to put into account. Because for a franchise which has the developer avoid adult content like swearing because he's a good Christian boy, and the fan base. So just the idea of FNAF randomly having a super violent entry just doesn't work because that isn't FNAF. The most gore you really get is a few pixels, and I don't see someone using this as snuff porn. So watching this is just kind of goofy. I also would talk about I also could talk about how it's just kind of gross with the dead bodies being kids, but I've seen worse. Unfortunately. However, it's this guy's response to all of this, which is a complete and utter train wreck and one of the funniest things I think I've ever seen.
I should have put a content warning. If I could go back in time and do that, then I would have. But I didn't. I did all I could to make up for it, so here we are. At the end of the day, however, there's no easy way to say that while I will, like, reprimand myself.
Oh my fucking god, get to that fucking point, man.
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it.
Where, to get out of this, he just throws Stephen King under the bus. I will not mention the scene from the book. I will not mention the scene from the book, as well as Outlast 2. I have a lot to say about Outlast 2. But I'll cut it short because this is about FNAF, and I also want to cover that game on my own channel. YouTube.com/Grebbz. But all you need to know is that this game handles gore and shit in the most tone-deaf way that removes all actual fear from the game. Good example is one from the very beginning, where to show the horrible idea of this evil cult killing their offspring, they have even a shed full of dead fetuses because subtlety is dead. Which, by the way, I hate how this guy talks about this scene, like he was writing the script one-handed. But my issue is, yeah, it's gross and it made me uncomfortable, but it also kills the horror of this idea. Because they actually do show the same idea with a lot more subtlety. But too little too late, you show me it and now my brain is a visual instead of just show don't tell. And all of this mostly just comes to the conclusion that, gore and shit can be good if you want something that's just a mindless thing to consume while you're high, or do something in the background. But if you want me to actually care about it, ignore show don't tell, dumb fucking rule, and whoever made it needs to be shot. Instead I prefer imply don't show. If you want me to be scared and think of the horrors, imply it. Let me come to the same conclusion on my own, because the horror of my own disgusted, twisted fucking brain is far more disturbing than some shit art you commissioned. I really don't have much to say. I find this video really boring. So is the shit game based off this. Show me having some fun in that shit game.
Just so you know, the file name is untitled.
Oh, brilliant! They didn't even title the fucking game?
No.
You're fucking kidding me.
What the fuck was that?
What the fuck was that?
Oh, stones and glass houses you should look into.
Oh, stay up late just to see me.
Hey, we killed a child! What the fuck was that?
Fucking analog horror, look it up.
And at the very least, security breach is funny bad. This whole thing is a creepypasta writer thinking they're hot shit and failing to meet the brief. Alright, I wanna go back to hell. I feel claws bringing me back down.
Get the fuck out of my palace!
Well, that's a waste of $400,000. I pretty much got nothing to say other than let's go to the outro, I guess. If you told me that 5 years ago that this reimagined was gonna have some controversy, I'd probably think that the creator might be a piece of shit. But no, it would be your average AAA slop nowadays. What can I say that I haven't even said before? It's boring, very generic, and definitely not scary whatsoever. And just like Security Breach, this feels like a massive waste of potential. There's so many stuff that could be improved on, but even so, there's some stuff that need to be worked on. Like the gore, the story, and the massive fucking rap in the room. And lucky for me, there is a game adaptation about this reimagining. Just hopefully that this game will fix my issue about this reimagining.
Foreshadowing is.
But hey, at least there's one positive I could feel certain about. At least this guy trying to adapt something that's bad and at least make it slightly better. At least it's someone who doesn't complain about the design being gooner bait for some reason.